Good morning everyone. My name is Mary Alice Stack and I'm the Chief Executive at Creative United. And this morning is all about informing you about the new Prosper programme which we're launching this week, which will be open to organisations across the arts and cultural sectors, including museums and libraries. If you don't know anything about Creative United, we are established as a community interest company with support from Arts Council England, and our mission is to build a sustainable and resilient creative economy, making the arts accessible to all. So we work very hard to support organisations within the sector, but also to drive new audiences to the arts and to make sure that arts and culture is something that is seen, participated in and enjoyed by as wide an audience as possible. In the past 4 years since we were established, we've achieved very positive results for a large number of creative and cultural businesses of all shapes and sizes across England, enabling them to improve their confidence and cash flow through improved business planning and access to loan finance. Prosper, as our new programme, will be continuing this work and extending the opportunity also to working with museums and libraries. Prosper will also be producing very timely research on the provision of business support for arts and culture and building a digital resource hub for business support learning and toolkits, which we're going to be delivering in partnership with the Arts Marketing Association, and you'll hear more about this shortly. We want to thank Arts Council England particularly for their ongoing funding for this work, and also Access, the Foundation for Social Investment, and Creative Scotland for their additional funding. A grant from Creative Scotland has allowed us to extend the research element of this programme into Scotland, which we hope will significantly enhance the overall picture of the business support landscape available at the moment. So that's all from me. I'm going to hand over to Sarah, our Director of Business Programmes at Creative United, who's going to tell you all about Prosper and its aims, who it will work for, and also our partners, the Centre for Business in Society and the Arts Marketing Association.
Hello everyone, it's really lovely to see everyone here today, and we're really excited about this new business support programme. I'm going to be talking through all the things hopefully you need to know about it. So we'll be looking at the aims of the programme, who we're working with, who the programme is for importantly, and how it will work, the difference it will make for those organisations that we work with on the programme, how you get involved in the programme, and then also I'll be touching upon the research and the digital hub that Mary Alice just mentioned. So why are we delivering this new programme? Why are we launching Prosper today? Its main aims are to provide business development advice and also investment readiness support for organisations in the arts and culture, museums and libraries, also commercial creative businesses, to strengthen business development knowledge and commercial skills within those businesses and organisations, something that can then be used for growth and to pass on to help those businesses in the future. Undertake research. This is with our partner, the Centre for Business in Society. The research will be looking at evaluation of the current provision of business support and the development needs across the sector. And then with the Arts Marketing Association, we're gathering information about business support opportunities and sharing our learning through their digital hub. So as was mentioned before, these are our partners on the programme. So we're very thankful for the continuing support from the Arts Council England. We've also been receipt of additional funding from Creative Scotland. This is enabling us to extend our research into Scotland. We also had additional funding from Access, the Foundation for Social Investment. So they're really keen to support this programme to see how we can enable more organisations to get ready for social investment. They're interested to see the results of that. Centre for Business in Society is based at Coventry University, and they'll be working on the research element of the programme. And then we have the Arts Marketing Association, who's our editorial partner, working with us on a digital hub as part of their culturehive.co.uk website. So, who is it for? Which organisations and businesses are we wanting to reach and engage with on this programme? Quite simply, it's arts and cultural and creative organisations, businesses and entrepreneurs. So there's a real wide range there. If there's creativity, artistic output, cultural output at the heart of what that organisation does, then we're keen to hear from you. We're also now working for the first time, very excited about this, with museums and libraries. So we are able to work with fully accredited museums, and we're able to work with publicly funded libraries. So we're really keen to see what the outcomes will be for those organisations. So you might be a charity, you could be a not-for-profit organisation, so a social enterprise or a community interest company. You might be a sole trader or a freelance practitioner working for yourself, or you could be a limited company or a partnership or a collective. So there really is a whole range of types of organisation there that we're keen to hear from if you think business support is going to be the right thing for you. So there's a whole range of creative and cultural sectors that this can fall under. There's a lot in there. A lot of organisations work across a number of these. So you could be a craftsperson or a designer maker, you could run a theatre, you could run a music venue, you could work, as I say, in the museums or library sectors. So there's a whole range there. What we're not really geared up to do is to work with a creative company that is really specialising in advertising. We're not really geared up for that. We're not the best place to help you. And we're not the best place to support really new early stage businesses. We'll certainly talk to you, but there are other organisations out there that are best suited for startups, which we can also point you in the direction of. How will it work? There's an application form, and for the first time we're also introducing what we're calling a diagnostic report. The period for these to be completed is by the 31st of May. So there is an application period in which you can tell us about your organisation and send us your details. When we're looking at the applications, we'll be assessing the information on the application form, and the diagnostic report is not necessarily what we assess, but it's what we say all organisations must have when they start their business support journey. And also it's just an interesting thing to go through anyway, because you can learn a lot about what your business might need in terms of business support. So it will help us from that regard as well, but it will be mostly what you tell us in the application form. Application form is hopefully a very simple process, just telling us about your organisation, who you are, where you are, why you do what you do, what work you produce, and why you think business support is right for you. What outcomes would you like to see because of receiving that support? And we're also really interested to hear how you're going to embed the learning from any business support into your organisation for it to carry on. We're going to be working with 70 organisations this time round on Prosper. So we are expecting that there will be more than 70 applications received. So we will be assessing them very carefully to see what the impact of that business support will be, and importantly, how that business support is going to be learned within the organisation and carried forward. And then in the programme itself, there's 9 months of quite intensive business support. And this will be in the form of one-to-one advice with an advisor. And there will also be in the form of masterclasses, webinars and workshops. So we've introduced more of these because we know there's a whole range of different kinds of business support and a range of ways that people can receive that depending on their organisation and their needs. It could be that the one-to-one advice is the thing you're really after, or it could be that within an organisation there's members of your team that would benefit from joining us on these other kinds of business support. Webinars mean that they're delivered digitally, so you can be anywhere at your own desk receiving a short burst of information on a particular subject. Masterclasses and workshops will be a place where everyone comes together and has a chance to network, as well as some learning in key areas. So we've introduced this system so people can have choice in how they decide to make up their own business journey plan. So a lot of programs have like a 12 hours of business support system, and we've used that before, but we tweaked it and called it 12 credits, which you can spend on these different kinds of business support. So 1 credit is a 1 hour of business advice or a 1-day masterclass. Half a credit would be a 3-hour workshop, and a quarter of a credit could be a 1-hour webinar. So you could really mix and match and build it up how you want to build it up for your organisation. So, for example, you could have 8 hours of one-to-one advice mixed up with a couple of masterclasses, a couple of workshops, a couple of webinars, and that would take up your 12 credits, or any combination of the above, or you could just go for, I just want 12 hours of one-to-one time with an advisor, and that is also fine. If you used up your 12 credits, the advice, as well as the masterclasses, workshops and webinars, are also available to sort of purchase as additionals. So if you went through your free support but also wanted to benefit from some of the other subjects being learnt across the other group work or work further with your advisor, we can talk to you about how we can make that happen as well. So here are just a few of the faces of our business advisor. You see they're real people. These are a mixture of people we've worked with before for some of them up to 4 years now on our existing business support program, the Creative Industry Finance program. So we've worked with them a long time. They've produced really great results. They're trusted and their expertise has been valued with the businesses that they've already been working with. And some of them are new to our network. We recruited more business advisors to make sure we had expertise across museums and libraries and other kinds of arts and cultural organisations. So this is just a little selection of them. And here's a little selection of the kinds of subject matter we're thinking about for our group work. So we realised a lot of people just want to know about writing a business plan. That's a big one for a lot of people running commercial businesses. Some people want to find out about how can you use loan finance in the mix with other kinds of funding. And we realised there were other kinds of subjects around how to use assets and IP and how you manage growth and risk within an organisation if you're looking at change. Other kinds of subjects, using a theory of change and impact measurement tools are really key, especially if you're thinking about social investment. That's a really useful way to go. You might just be thinking about writing a new vision and mission statement or looking at something like the business model canvas. With these subjects, we've come up with a list that we've learned is important to arts and cultural organisations, but what we really want to do is listen to what you tell us as well. If there's particular subjects that you think are really important and you'd like to learn about, we can feed that back to our business advisors or feed that into how we create content for these group works. So what difference will the programme make? Well, this is what we think. Some of the outcomes could be you gain a clear vision, mission and set of objectives for your organisation if that's something you wanted to work on. High levels of confidence in how you use business planning tools and financial tools. Improved understanding of commercial income potential. So if you're looking to find new ways to diversify or generate an income within your organisation, we can help you with those plans. Increasing your knowledge of routes to different kinds of funding and finance, and should you wish, we can also help you access loan finance with our lending partners that we have on board. And following on from that, investment readiness. How do you portray your organisation so you can gain more investment or different options for investment? And overall, we hope that we will enable organisations and businesses to be more resilient, more able to deal with change and the changing landscape and the challenges that are out there for arts and cultural organisations. Help them to be more sustainable so they can find how their business can be more maybe adaptable to support what they're doing and support more creative enterprises. So if you're interested, what is the application process? As I said, complete an online application form. That should be up and available now. It's quite a simple form. You can log in, create your own very safe account. You can save it, go away, come back, complete it. As long as it's with us by the 31st of May, that's fine. We also have this online diagnostic report. So this is an opportunity for you to find out and maybe interrogate a little bit more where you think you are in terms of the health or the strength of your current business setup. So it asks a few detailed questions. It also asks you to think about different skill sets and different areas in your organisation and how strong or where you think the challenges are with these kind of sliders. So it's quite intuitive. Have a little play with it. So the results from the diagnostic report, as I say, are not necessarily what we look at when we assess the applications, but when you start your business support journey with us, having a diagnostic report is going to be super useful because it's something that our advisors can pick up on straight away and help get to work on those areas that have been identified. You will also find it super useful, hopefully, for your own organisation, just to fill it out anyway. So it will need to also be completed by the 31st of May. You can find more details there on our website, and of course you can contact us if you have any other questions. So as I say, when we make that selection process, just a little heads up here of the kind of questions we'll be asking of the information that you tell us. We want to know how well your organisation is doing at the moment, or where you've told us the particular challenges are in the business support need, and what we think will be the impact in the medium and long term of any business support that we provide. So we'll be asking some of these kind of questions. Some may not apply to your kinds of business. Certainly if you're coming to us looking for investment readiness and help with accessing finance, we'll be looking at how well your business is doing right now so we can give you a realistic view on that. But it could be that you're coming to us for other kinds of business support needs. You might want to look at your income diversification. You might want to look at how you handle any opportunities coming up. So we'll be looking at it from those different perspectives and asking these questions. And as I say, the really important thing that we're keen to find out is how you will be able to engage with the business support that's provided over those 9 months. Is there a commitment to go through that process and a commitment to embedding that and cascading that learning through your organisation so it can then carry on? So just a little bit more about the research we're doing. So this is research across England and Scotland. So they're looking at the current business support provision. They're gathering evidence of what's already out there and carrying out a literature review of where that's reached at the moment, putting that into a compendium so we can have a really clear overview of all the different kinds of business support that's out there at the moment for arts and culture. So that work is very much underway at the moment. They'll also be evaluating what we learn about the needs of organisations when it comes to business support and what kind of pathways they're taking to our programme or maybe elsewhere. And then there'll be a policy review, some group work to find out more in focus groups and workshops, and finally creating recommendations for how business support can develop and be delivered following the Prosper programme. So the Arts Marketing Association are our editorial partners. So they're pulling together a whole range of things for the Culture Hive website. They'll be pulling together outcomes from the research so we can be sharing those. They'll be pulling together learning that we undertake through delivering the programme. So that could be in the form of blogs or little videos or interviews with organisations that are on the programme. We'll be putting our case studies up there. So that could be case studies during the process as well as when we've finished. And they'll also be putting together a whole range of current existing toolkits and business support resources in one place, and also adding to it the stuff that we create during the course of the programme. This is how you can get in touch with us. It's my email address. Genevieve Paste is project manager on this programme. So if you have any questions, you can drop us a line. All our contact details are on the website as well, and we are on Twitter, Facebook and LinkedIn. That's the end of the info blast. So if anyone has any particular questions, we have been matching business advisors to organisations for about 4 years now for our Creative Industry Finance programme, and we've hopefully developed a really good way of doing it. So it's kind of like We try and match people based on the sector they work in. So does the advisor have the right knowledge and language and understanding of the drivers behind that organisation and that sector? So we look at it from that point of view. We look at what the organisation tells us their business needs are. So if they're telling us they want to get their finances straight, we have advisors that are from a financial background. If it's digital or marketing, we have some that are more experienced in that area. We also look at location. We want people to be as close to each other as possible for meeting up. So we try and find a happy place within those three. And also we do think about personality as well. We know our advisors very well. So we try and think which ones we think are going to be able to fit in and form that relationship to deliver the one-to-one advice. If for whatever reason the relationship doesn't quite work, then we can switch it about and find someone else. Sure, I think now with the recruitment we have about 38 or 39 a network all around England. So they have been recruited from the various creative sectors. So some of them have come from the worlds of visual art and crafts and design. Some of them have come from maybe fashion or digital. Some of them have come from music or theatre. I'd say all of them have either run their own successful company or have led a large organisation. A lot of them have qualifications in mentoring and coaching and delivering business advice and are already out there delivering that already. Our network, we recruit them as they're freelancers, so when we recruit them, we have an interview process. So we make sure that we are confident with their level of experience, with the kinds of clients that we know are going to come through the door, and we make sure that they tell us about that, so we know that they are prepared for the kind of questions and challenges they'll meet and what success they've had already. We have a list of our current advisors actually sitting on our Creative Industry Finance website, which we're adding the new ones onto at the moment. So there's little bios on there, so you can go and have a see who they are. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. There's probably going to be 2 masterclasses that we develop, and each of those will be delivered 3 times. So there'll be opportunities to join it. They'll be over the course of a day. We're thinking that the business model canvas subject will be a masterclass. So that will be led by one of our advisors. So we'll work closely with our advisors to create the content for the group work. The masterclasses, we'll try and deliver them around the country, so they're just not all in one place, so people have the opportunity to join them. So it'll be a real kind of deep dive into that subject to have a real strong sense of the learning outcomes. You'll be hopefully come away from it really confident in that particular subject, which will be different for something like a webinar, which will be probably just 45 minutes covering like top tips and essentials in a particular area if you wanted a refresher. So so we've got these sort of 3 levels, I guess, of group work, webinars, workshops, masterclasses. But as I say, we're really keen to hear what subjects are important to you guys that we can also work on. We don't. We're keen to see what comes through the door and to learn what their business needs are and see what impact we can make with them. So it could be an organisation that's quite fresh, maybe a couple of years old, still quite small and looking for that ability to get onto the next footing. Or it could be a very large established organisation with plenty of staff, but looking to see how they can maybe invigorate where their funding sources come from or start a new product or service. So we really are looking for a range. And we want to be working with a range as well. So I guess it is a consideration when we're looking at applications. We want to be able to have larger organisations and representatives of smaller companies. And another key thing is we're we're committed to ensuring that we are spending 80% of our business support outside of London. So that means within London it's could be quite competitive, but that means we make sure that we're really out there working across the regions as well. I would say that would be fine, yeah, because you've got that that back catalogue, if you like. You've got that track record. You've got a substantial ongoing business already, and you have this new service, new arm developing. That would be something that would be happy to look at. I guess startups, I was thinking, you know, it's someone that's just started a business and they're 6 months in, and that's the only thing that they're doing. We're probably not the best placed organisation with how we're developing our content to support those, but for you it sounds like it would be spot on actually, yeah. When thinking about getting investment in for an organisation, often the risks are associated with the change that will happen within an organisation in maybe a new model of business, and depending on the kind of investment, what the return has to be to make that work, and can the capacity and the resource within an organisation cope with that. So if you're getting loan finance, are the repayments realistic? Is it a viable option? If it's another kind of investment such as you know, equity or sponsorship, what other kind of returns are being need to be generated in order for that to make it work, and has that been accounted for in the cash flow as well as in the business plan? So they're the kind of risks, and often at, you know, at board level, these kind of changes are looked at very closely. So having some business support to help go through those scenarios can be really useful. Well, it could be both, depending on what they tell us that their current business needs or opportunities are. So if you are the artists and you run your own campaigns and release your own material, so you're running it as a business, it could be for you. Or it could be the management company looking to see how they can be a more sustainable business in developing new talent. So it could be either. I mean, the opportunities is there for both. So I would recommend having a think about, you know, the particular areas and outcomes that we're looking at helping organisations and businesses achieve, and does that feel like the right fit for that particular company? Because it could be that we can maybe signpost them to something else via our digital resource, or it could be that maybe the full programme isn't right for them, but they could choose to buy into our workshops and webinars. So that's another option. We have our workshops and webinars out there, free for the people on the Prosper programme, but also if anyone else wants to join in, they're available to sort of buy onto, you see. So there could be options that they just pick a bit of it that might work for them. Yeah. We've specialised in looking at how loan finance could work for arts and cultural organisations and creative businesses. So the network that we have are loan providers. We have a range from people like the Arts Impact Fund to other sort of social investors like Key Fund and Big Issue. And we also work with organisations that provide personal lending or directors' loans or other kinds of business support loans. So I think we have 8 or 9 different ones. So if you were thinking about how accessing loan finance as a bit of investment into your organisation, we can certainly look at that and help prepare a business for entering into that kind of arrangement. And we can also introduce them to one of our lending partners if we think that's going to be the right fit. Yeah. It probably will get used in our research with the Centre for Business in Society, anonymised. That research will be then shared with the Arts Council and the larger sector. It's not really going to go any further than that. So everything that, if you're an organisation that fills out the diagnostic, obviously you get to see the result in a like a PDF with little graphics. And then that data we will have, our research will have, and that will inform that. It's not really going anywhere else apart from that. If your organisation is on the programme and we ask, would you like to be a case study, then there would be an element of naming. But otherwise, no, it'll be anonymised. Yeah. The application process is very much, rather than it being an individual applying, we are looking at it as the business or the organisation applying. So yes, I guess you could instruct your various ventures to, so it'll be on an organisation by organisation basis, yeah. Well, it's a little bit like how long's a piece of string, that one. It really does depend on where the organisation is at, what their need is, what their particular challenge is, what they're hoping to achieve, what their own timescales are. We certainly don't want to enforce timescales onto an organisation that are unrealistic. So it could be that you come to us and say, we want to get to this point in 6 months' time, and then it's like, okay, let's do that. Or it could be, we want to get over there in 3 years' time, and we help you set up the route to that. Outside of work with the advisor and the group work, we understand time is limited, resources are short. So I certainly think with things like business support, where you can carve out time to really think about what you're learning and how you, like I was stressing about getting that learning through an organisation, so it doesn't just sit with one person. So you see how you can get others in the team involved. That's another way of maybe ensuring that you can cope with any of that extra stuff. Absolutely part and parcel of it. We want to make sure that all kinds of organisations, all kinds of genres, all voices are heard, and all kinds of organisations are supported to do well wherever they are. As part of the application process, there is an equality and diversity part of the application. So if you wanted to tell us a little bit about yourself as an applicant, then that helps us gauge how well we are reaching in terms of diversity. But we certainly want to make sure that we are talking to everyone and that everyone knows about it. So we'll work hard to do that. It's a bit of a mix. Some of them we will pull together ourselves with our business advisors from what we've learned works for arts and cultural organisations. But a lot of our business advisors use things like the business model canvas in their advice. So we might build content around these templates that already exist. The Arts Marketing Association's digital resource will also point towards things that already exist, because if something's out there, we don't want to reinvent the wheel. We want to make sure people know it's there and can go and use it. But some of the templates are things that we have developed ourselves, like simple cash flow templates for someone that is scared of Excel spreadsheets, for example. So so it'll be a mix of stuff that we create, bringing in existing tools and signposting to other stuff. On Culture Hive, which is the Arts Marketing Association's website, we have a Prosper section which already has some links to some existing tools. So, if it's already out there, we want to make sure people know about it and can go and find it, as well as coming to us for the one-to-one and the group work.